We live? We're live. That's what it looks like. It looks like we're live.
Nice.
All right. Let me double check over here. Yeah, it looks like we're live, man. I love it.
So how the hell you been, dude?
I've been good, bro. How have you been?
Working. Like,
yeah.
Me and Joni got a goal. We want to be debt free from like all our credit cards and everything, probably by this time next year.
Fuck yeah. Solid goal. Goal, brother.
I don't like being a slave, and
yeah, right.
Wow. Slave to my vices, and
aren't we all sometimes?
And it's a thing. So like it's just been all hands on deck to pay the bills. So
well, before we get into how you're involved with the scrapyard, how you started your business and all that, why don't we do a little toast here?
Yes, sir.
Here we are. We got kava here, guys. For those of you who don't know what kava is, it's a root. And before you drink it, you always say bula. So,
or if you're in Hawaii, you say malok. I just learned this recently. Malok or bula.
Well,
it's a tough root.
Woo.
It's a tough root.
Yeah, it's nice. Why don't you tell the audience, explain a little bit about what kava is? I mean, I told them it's a root, but like, what are some of the benefits?
Well, I'll say it's more than a root, man. I think that kava honestly is a gift. It saved my life. If we just rewind about 2 years into the past, I was drinking really heavily. Where I work at, I have a security clearance with the Department of Defense, and so I cannot partake in other roots or things,
medicinal stuff,
medicinal things. Yeah. And so alcohol. So with my security clearance, kind of came a bottle of vodka. We always joke about that where I work, but it's a 100% a fact. And
not to interrupt you too much, but I hear that that's also a factor in law enforcement.
Yeah,
that they can't, because that's like one of their only vices, essentially, that a lot of law enforcement end up becoming or having some issues with alcoholism.
I think like you hit a point, man. It's just so socially acceptable, right?
Yeah, and everybody needs a vice,
right? And not only that, but I think that with alcohol, let's just go back into the annals of history. Alcohol is a part of pretty much everybody's culture, right? Mm-hmm. You're sad, you have a drink. You're happy, you have a drink. You're having a bad day, you have a drink. You have a good day, you have a drink. There's always a reason to drink. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. Mm-hmm. There's an entire music industry that's surrounded, like country music. It's not country music unless it involves a beer or a margarita or,
Very true.
Something, right? And
it's been throughout all of human history where alcohol has played a factor. I mean, it was given to the Egyptian slaves as currency. Was alcohol and bread, crazy, man, crazy stuff.
We're living in those times now, right? Like, they want to dull the senses with the bread and then pass legislation right over the top of us because they think we're not paying attention. But I don't want to digress into the realm of politics.
Woo! I don't know what kind of podcast this is gonna turn into. I'm up for whatever, buddy.
All right, brother.
Yeah.
But you asked another question, so what got me drinking kava? And so, yes, going back to that, I was drinking heavily and I wasn't present with my family. I wasn't the best version of myself. Let's just put it this way. And I was falling down drunk a lot. And honestly, when I was a kid, man, I was more into sports. I was into martial arts when I was younger, growing up. And, you get in the adult world, you start working or whatever, but I always take training. I was always into physical fitness. Even now, man, I'm almost 50 and I don't look 50. I take my shirt off and people are like, God damn, dude, like you work. I'm like, yeah, I work out.
You have a pretty physical job too, man. I mean, you stay active.
Yeah. Being a welder is no joke. And where we weld in Steve, that's actually how I met Steve Fire Chicken from the scrapyard. He was in the apprenticeship class above mine. So we've known each other for years. That's kind of what got my foot in the door with the scrapyard. Shout out to Steve. I'm still a better welder than he is. Just kidding. I gotta get my pipe balls back.
I would say that's why it's influencing now.
That's his influencing. It's funny. So when I was doing the union gig, tell a story about Steve, right? So everybody loves Steve at the shipyard. And He was a really good welder, yeah, well respected. And they do these what they call a TDY, so they force you to travel to different duty stations to do work elsewhere. Mm-hmm. And depending on your quals and what you got going on, they have you working on X projects, blah blah blah. Anyways, so the resource department for our shop is busy because there's only a finite amount of people that have quals, and then even a less finite amount of people that have quals and can actually use those quals, because there's somebody that passed the test, but they're just not really good in application. Now, Steve was a guy that was both. He had the quals and really good in application. So they needed to push him to Virginia. Okay. So Steve had been watching this thing called the Scrapyard in Virginia, right? I don't know, shout out to Scarface, right? And so Steve travels like 3 hours to go fight. Thus, Fire Chicken is born. Mm-hmm. Comes back with this whole recipe to create the Scrapyard, right? And so while I was doing the union gig, I was working with our management a lot because we have people that get in trouble and they need to go to a union rep. So I'd have sidebar conversations, and our resource manager, John Basant, I don't know if he's watching, but he'll vouch for this. He's like, man, that's one TDY. I wish I never had to force somebody, because if I hadn't have forced Steve to that TDY, he would have never gotten that fight at the scrapyard. He would have never come back with the recipe to create the scrapyard, and then he would have never retired from the shipyard. So this is one of those things. I think it's a double lesson. Sometimes life puts you in a place where you don't want to be, but what you extract from that, the value from that might be so much bigger later on. Like he ended up retiring and doing something he loves for the rest.
I know. We've spoken about this before. It's almost like it was destined to happen, man. And it's crazy. You kind of give that credibility to that story too. It's like, yeah, you were there. You've seen it from the get-go. You know, seeing the scrapyard from where it started to, you know, us just having the 5-year anniversary where we're having Mighty Mouse there, arguably, you know, the greatest MMA fighter that's ever existed, coming through the yard. And so humble, man. I mean, I was a fan before I met him, and then after I met him, I was just like, bro, you are definitely the legend in my book. Yeah, it was just how he was interacting with everybody. Like you said, he was super humble. He was friendly. He was willing to take photos. Not only that, he was handing out advice to younger fighters as well. You know,
I left him alone because I knew he was busy. Mm-hmm. But I hope he got a chance to eat one of our tacos. You know what I mean? That's sorry to interrupt you, Nate.
No, that's perfect. That's what we're here to talk about, bro. Is how did so you get involved with the scrapyard early on? Did you kind of like anticipate becoming the vendor, or did that just kind of something that happened? Why don't you give us kind of the origin story of kavacado?
You know, me and Joni were actually just talking about this. It's the craziest thing. So we had hit hard times, really hard times. Like where the position I was in before I came back to the tools, the position I was in, I wasn't getting any overtime. And Joni had needed to take a break because she's a massage therapist, right? There's her hands and her wrists. Yep. So she needed to take a break. So in that transition, inflation, I don't know if you've lived in America in the last like 4 years, but inflation, man, has just skyrocketed. And we never anticipated the level of whatever, and the bills kept stacking. And, you know, money wasn't coming in at the level, right? So being a dad and us as a family, we're like panicking. Mm-hmm. One day out of nowhere. So I used to be a vendor years ago for a building products company called Prime Source. Mm-hmm. And sometimes when we would do tool demos or something like that, you know, you get hot dogs and hamburgers, it brings people in. So I too wanted to become an influencer, and I created this YouTube channel called Jim Gents Gals. And I knew Steve was doing well with it. He was still working at the scrapyard, or no, at the shipyard. And he and I would run into each other upstairs and kind of train together. And sometimes he beat up on me and sparring and whatever, right? Like we don't talk about Fight Club, but it was Pata. Shout out to Pata. He's the godfather, actually, the OG. He was actually at the 5-year anniversary, matter of fact. And,
was he? Wow.
Yeah, Pata's a bad boy. That dude, you know, he's a big Samoan guy, but he knows he was Golden Gloves boxing at 6 years old.
Beast.
Oh yeah. At 6 years old, his technique, his knowledge of the game, everything. You know, I trained at a Golden Gloves gym, but I was never ranked or anything like that. I was just more of a catcher's mitt for the fighters that were ranked.
Been there, bro. I've been there too.
I was addicted to learning
Yeah.
because being where I grew up, you know, like you get picked on a lot, and looking the way I grew up in California. So looking like the way I look in the neighborhoods that you go through, not a lot of people look like me. So I'm an easy target. So I had to learn how to hold my own. And so I've always had a passion for boxing. And it's interesting because when Steve was in the apprenticeship and we were on well crews together, we would talk about boxing, and he was total MMA. Like he was all about MMA, right? And, you know, obviously MMA is the superior fighting style because it incorporates everything. But boxing still has a place. I always do the relation, like, football and baseball, two different sports, right? Baseball's far more strategy, right? It's a long game. It's more of a marathon, right? It's kind of boring if you don't know what you're watching. So is boxing, right? Unless you got like phenoms like Mike Tyson just coming in and killing people inside of 30 seconds. Whereas MMA is more like football. It's all the action all the time, even if they're rolling, right? If you know jujitsu or if you know wrestling, you understand that grappling side of the house there. It's lights out, and you're seeing two professional fighters go at it at such a high level. It's like, oh my God, these guys are amazing.
Yeah, it's nonstop action. No, I get what you're saying with that. I mean, that's kind of why too. MMA, you have 3 rounds. You know, where boxing you could have up 12 to 15. You know, sometimes in boxing too, you can kind of run away and take a round off to recover almost. Where in MMA, there is no taking any kind of rounds off. You can't even take, 30 seconds off sometimes. I mean, people are on you, man. That whole ability to grab somebody really does take a lot of cardio out of people. So I hear what you're saying, but I do love boxing too. I'm a fans guy. I'm a hit first guy, so I love boxing.
Your first fight, I think it was a boxing match. I love your style. You and I actually have a similar defense style. Like if we ever end up sparring together, it'll be quite interesting because like I can see that you're a good counter puncher and you usually pick apart your opponents pretty well. I can see that, and I'm a strategist too, so I like to see what they got. But
we're definitely gonna have to mix it up for sure.
Yeah, man. But I'm sure
we've done a little bit of training, but we haven't hit each other yet, have we?
Not yet. But you showed me, man. It's interesting, like your knowledge of jiu-jitsu, like you're a person that I can learn from. There's people that I cannot, just because I don't know if it's an energy thing or whatever, but the way you teach, I absorb information quickly from you. So I could see, like, if I could participate in your gym or at least come down as a guest, I'm sure I would take away quite a bit of information. Sorry, my son.
I appreciate you saying that. Oh no, fine. I got my dogs in the background.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
A little allergies going on too. I don't know if it's that time of year or whatever, but up north it's been crazy, dude.
Yeah.
But
kavacado. You started. How did it start? You started it up. How did it all get going?
Well, I promise I'll bring all this around.
Yeah, I know we're getting off track myself.
Yeah, I love it.
To talk to you.
Avocado came about out of necessity. It was the weirdest thing, man. Steven put out on the page about 2 years ago. It was like April or May. He was like, "Hey, we have a vendor that dipped out on us last minute. We need a vendor," and I needed money, and I know how to be a vendor, right? Got the food handler's permit or whatever. And so I said, gosh, you know what? I'll take it. I didn't know how I was going to do it. I don't know where, whatever. And dude, we were on our last dollar. Me and Joni were scraping, but we put together what I wanted to do was launch. What's up, buddy? I know. Hey, everybody. Say hi to Xander.
What's up, buddy?
Yeah,
hey, buddy.
Yeah, Daddy's in a meeting right now. I love it. Hey, go let Daddy be in his meeting.
See you later, bud.
So he needs to come roll. You need to teach him.
Heck yeah, bring it through, bro.
He taught himself how to do forward flips, and he's just taught himself how to do backflips.
Whoa, he's doing backflips full on.
He's 4.
Shit. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah, he taught himself front flips, and now he's doing back. So he's got that, whatever it is, that agility.
He has that tumble down. That's
and
awesome.
he's a scrapper, and he's got that tenacity. You could just see it. Like Jackson's a sweetheart. My oldest son, he's a sweet. He rolls, and he has a limit, and he's trained to shout out to hybrid jiu-jitsu, right?
Hybrid.
Yeah, but he's a lover. He's not a fighter. I'm gonna have to watch out for him. As soon as he's 16, you know what I mean? We're gonna have that talk. Like, bro, I don't want
to. I don't want to be a granddad.
Yeah, exactly.
Man. No, he is a sweet kid. I met him over at the birthday party.
Yeah,
he's a real sweet one, man.
He's such a good kid.
Heck yeah.
So and then my oldest, she's like 19 going on 30, but you know,
they are at that age. Yeah.
Like I wish I knew half as much as what she thinks she knows right now. You know what I mean?
Oh, bro. I got a 21-year-old, and yeah, I do. A 21-year-old. I had her when I was 16 years old. So she grew up while I was growing up, and yeah, we went through all those phases, bro. And it's not easy being a girl dad for sure. So
yeah,
but, you know, it's super rewarding. I wouldn't trade it for the world, and I love her to death. It's just there's different challenges, you know, with your boys.
Fight, though, like when you tell a boy like, hey, you mind your manners with my daughter, you mean it. Like you will teach him a lesson. He needs to.
Yeah. I do my best, but it's her I can't square up with, and that's why things get challenging sometimes. Because if it was, you know, if I had a son or whatever, kind of like at the boys at the gym, if they're too testy with me, it's like, okay, well we can just settle this physically.
Yes.
With her, you know, you have to use your words, and I have a stutter, so it's hard to do all that.
Yeah. You don't strike. You don't have a stutter.
Well, no, I use that as kind of a joke. I mean, I do stutter a little bit, but it's just because I'm punchy a little bit. You know, I get punched in the head a lot. So
that's all. Is Justine laying those hands on you all the time?
Yeah, she does. She does. I mean, if the dishes need to be cleaned. Yeah, she did wonderful in her match, man.
She dominated.
Bro, it has dropped. It's come out, so we can talk about it. Yeah, I'm super proud of her. Very impressed with how far she's progressed in her training. Yeah. I mean, if you really analyze her first match to her latest match, it's like night and day in terms of fighters, man. I mean, she's collective now. She's always thrown pretty straight punches, but she's really lining things up, setting combos, finding angles. Yep. She puts in a lot of time in her training, and it's really showing. And I appreciate it because, again, when she took her first match, she only had maybe 3 weeks of training, if that, you know. So we're really able to gauge her progression through video, through the scrapyard. We're able to really see, like, oh, wow, this is where you were a year ago. Look at where you are now. In the same sense, we can see that with Matthew Taylor. You know, when he came to us, he was a 3-10 fighter, you know, and then he went on like I think last year he won 5 out of 6 matches.
Yeah, man.
You know,
I'm impressed with your
look at that. Yeah. So I really appreciate those guys because they really get to tell the story as to what it is we do over at the gym. And it's one thing if you have fighters coming out and no one's ever seen them fight before. You don't know if it's the training that makes that fighter that way or if that fighter just naturally like that. Well, with these competitors, now that you're seeing like where they were and where they are now, you can really credit it to what it is we do over there and the amount of effort we put into the training. And I'm really proud of that fact for sure. So it's been awesome.
Your coaching, man. Awesome. I'm telling you, you guys are gonna blow up. I love seeing my friends succeed. I love to see you guys are just constantly leveling up, and that to me makes my heart melt, man.
We're the same way, man.
Yeah, and so coming back to the story, right?
Yeah.
Like we digress, but I love digression too. But just to bring it all home, so he needed a vendor. I said, I didn't know how I was going to do it. Now, in my experience as a vendor, tacos have always been my forte. Mm-hmm. And over the years, we created this family. Now, it didn't start out that way. When I first came in, it was like ground beef and McCormick seasoning and just not anything. And my buddy Will, shout out to Will, was helping me, but we were so disorganized. And what we were trying to do is we were like doing donations welcome, and then we wanted people to like and subscribe to our page, but that kind of flopped. And I needed the money so bad that I wasn't going to blow up fast enough, so I had to start charging. So we started charging, and one weekend when it was a scrapyard, it's about the third month in, I said, we weren't really selling anything. It wasn't hitting the numbers that we needed to. And I'm like, you know what? We need to change up. Well, Will goes, well, how are we going to change up? And I said, dude, I got a recipe. It's a badass recipe, and people are going to love it. And it's going to, I'm telling you, this thing's going to take off. It's going to explode. And it's the look that came over his face. And I make fun of him, so I'm not saying anything that he won't agree to, right?
Of course.
His look came over as he went like this. Well, like somebody ran over his puppy, right? And he goes, well, what if people don't like it? And I go, so what, dude? Like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Then you don't have to buy our stuff. No offense to anyone.
So we got to do something. So
we're gonna do pork tacos. We're going to do the best pork tacos. And I got a sauce that will knock everybody's socks off. He said, well, I don't know. And I said, well, it's not your money that's investing in this. So I'm going to take the shot, and no risk, no reward. Next month, the very next month, it flew off. Everyone was like, this sauce, oh my God, right? So we started selling. Second month, it was addicted. The third month in, Joni had taken over. I had split ways with Will, and no offense to Will, but he's not really a business-minded person. And in business, you got to be willing to take risks. And you can't listen to negative people, right? And he was too negative for me in that genre. Now, Will's a great guy. He'll do anything for you to live, but he's not a business owner. He doesn't think like that. And right at that moment, I needed somebody that had positive energy, because energy is a real thing. And I needed somebody that was going to, and Joni has owned businesses since before I met her. Well, she has that entrepreneur kind of mentality. Within 2 months, dude, we were humming and singing. And what was giving us $300 made us $600. And then we started expanding our sauces. And we instead of having a trailer with a truck and all this other stuff, we were able to simplify everything down into what we have now. And so my podcast that I wanted kind of fell away, but kavacado began. And because I was drinking kava, I was like, God, I would love to have a kava bar, right? And kind of bring kava to people, a place that would be a non-alcoholic kind of venue where people could come hang out and just do their thing and not have a drunk person knocking into them and all the stuff that people don't want to have when they're going out with their lady on a Friday night. And so we started Kavacado, our kava bar. And shout out to Mandy and Steve. They came out to support us. Scrapyard Fighters have been out there to support us. We closed it down just because time. I'm working so much, and things had changed. But we took the risk, and it worked. And we got the word out. Now we have a retail presence with Kava. We sell it in few locations and expanding that. We're looking. If anybody that's watching this knows anybody in the bottling world, we're trying to bottle our sauces, and I want to do it with a local bottling company so that the money stays in our community and stays here. And I want to be able to start selling our sauces, because that's what we're really famous for. And I think that we have enough support through the scrapyard that people understand what we're trying to do and would love to help, get the word out about what we're about and where we're going with that, man.
Yeah. Speaking of your sauces, you actually sponsor one of the scrapyard legends, Lights Out.
Legendary Lights Out. Shout out to Lights Out. I hope he's watching this right now.
Oh, I'm sure if he isn't, I'm sure I'll send it to him so he can check this out. But yeah, big shout out to Lights Out.
That's my guy right there. I love his man. Since the first time I ever saw him fight, I saw it on a YouTube video, obviously, but when I came in to the yard, I love his poise. I love his aggression. He has no fear.
No back down in that kid, man.
No. And he switches his fighting stance. You do too. I do too, right? Like when the next time we mix it up, right? Like I look at my opponent, but if I need to go lefty or righty, I switch. It's more of the martial arts background I think that I have that causes you to change your fighting stance. Whereas most real boxers stay orthodox or they're southpaw. They don't switch.
they don't have to contest with kicks, and that's a lot of what like the switching comes from for me is I have a traditional background, and when you're addressing kicks and stuff, you have to attack somebody at different angles than you would just boxing them.
Yes.
So the switch has always been something I use to catch that angle, the 45 angle, which I like to attack people from. So
yeah, your fighting style is very similar to mine. Like I said, I think it'll be interesting to when we finally get to spar. Maybe I'll bring my grab some of the gloves or whatever, because I think you could definitely teach me some lessons.
You can teach me some lessons. I'm always getting taught lessons. I still got a black eye from last Wednesday. I got taught a lesson. So
my cardio is getting a lot better. I've been really focusing on cardio instead of weights right now. I'm doing a lot of body weight and plyometric in my
plyometrics where it's at for fighters, man.
Yeah,
for fighter, plyometrics,
squats, not the heavy weight. I'm just doing body weight and going for it. And it's really helped me in my welding. Because today I was in a really jacked up spot, man, where I was welding in the mirror, and it was just like one of these things. Steve can attest to that stuff, like where the plate we weld on submarines, nuclear submarines, and everything that needs to be welded is in some jacked up spot in some location that is just nasty. And big guys like us trying to squeeze in it. You just got to get comfortable using a mirror, man. That's just.
Yeah, I bet, man. You ever get claustrophobic in those things?
No, that doesn't bother me. Where I get panicky, and I'll be honest, and I think anybody would, is when we're in a tank. If I'm doing tank work and the lights go out, that gets panicky, because if you don't have a flashlight with you, which you better, right, you won't find your way out of that tank. You see what I'm saying? So like, oh yeah.
That's a little stressful. Yeah, I'd say so, man.
We'll bring a flashlight. There's a couple of things you always got to bring with you, man. Bring a knife, bring a flashlight. The reason for a knife is you're always cutting like tie wire, or not tie wire, zip ties, or you're making containments or whatever. So a knife is just a great tool for you to have in general. And then a light. Oh yeah, you'll never forget it the moment you get stuck in a place where you needed it. And and more importantly, you probably have a backup light as well. But I digress.
If you're not getting out of those tunnels, you better have like 3 or 4 of those damn things. Bro.
Yeah. So it's interesting, man, because I think it was Steve, or I forget who it was, but one day we brought our lunch with us on the boat, and we were on the sail of a submarine, right? And we looked at each other and we were like, how many people can say that they're eating lunch on the sail of a U.S. nuclear submarine? And let me tell you, those things, you can read all the stuff you want about China and their Navy and all that other stuff. Those submarines we got are straight up predators. There is no other word for it, right? Shout out to the
that makes me feel good, honestly.
Oh yeah. There we go. The biggest carriers they could build, or whatever. Torpedoes are cheap. And our submarines shoot a lot of them real fast. And this is unclassified. So if you want to hear some unclassified stuff, one of the most deadly weapons that's ever been invented is a swim out torpedo. So how you can even track. So when you're tracking a United States submarine or an English submarine, any of our allies, you're not looking for sound. You're looking for the absence of sound. That's how you possibly find one of, but usually it's too late. They're already, because if you see them, they've definitely seen you. That's a scary thing, right?
That sounds scary.
Yeah. So imagine you're in a convoy and you're trying to hunt a submarine, and then what happens is, in the old style, they would flood water into these tubes, and then they would charge a lot of air and a lot of water to push the torpedo out of its torpedo tube, and then it would have a target, and then it would go seek the target. Swim out torpedoes don't need that. They just swim out under their own power, nice and quiet, right? They already have a target. There is no launch transient. That's how you track something fired at me, fire a torpedo directly at that. No. It just swims out, and it just lays dormant. And as soon as you're within the kill radius, spools up and then kills it.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, yeah.
Genius.
So you don't know. And imagine 8 or 9 or 10 of those in the water. So your whole convoy is sunk, because one torpedo will break the back of any. The way torpedoes work, you think they work in a movie. In a movie, they slam into the side of a boat, whatever. No. What they do is they swim directly underneath the center of a
He's
vessel.
trying to say hi.
Hello. And then
Say
they explode and they detonate the water underneath. So what happens when you have extreme heat and water? It evaporates, right? So then that boat that was sitting on a bunch of water, no water there, breaks the keel of the boat and then sinks it right down.
Oh, jeez.
Devastating.
Man.
Yeah.
From tacos to submarines, man.
Yeah,
We
that's
never know where this is going.
yeah.
It's
We
awesome.
don't want to get into
Yeah.
conspiracy theory, but yeah, our U.S. Navy is the finest in the world, in my
Oof.
opinion. I might be a little biased, but yeah, we have
Hey,
some.
I'm biased with it, man. I like
Yeah,
to I
God
like to
bless the
think we're the
USA.
top two, man. Hell yeah. God
Yeah,
bless the USA. I'm all for that. I
yeah.
live here, so I'm all for
But
it.
that's just unclassified stuff. I'm
Yeah.
sure there's some stuff. There's some
Oh.
weapon. There was stuff, dude. There was a weapon. This is the Army, one of their toys.
Mhm.
They have so much stuff that they it's like they don't even whatever. I don't know if you've heard of the cicada. With this, the Army, they declassified, or Air Force declassified this, I think, in 2015. So it's a paper airplane, right?
Okay.
And it could hold, say, a pound of C4 or a listening device or whatever.
That's
Now
a
you
lot.
load that
Yeah.
up in one of our big boy bombers that can hold, hundreds of thousands of pounds, right?
Uh-huh.
Get it up in the outer atmosphere, and you just dump all these little paper airplanes with explosive and a target, right? And they
Mhm.
can fly within 1 foot of their target. Okay, now C4 has a kill radius of about 10 feet. Okay, so they're already there. Now, these things, now imagine a billion of these things coming at you or coming at a whole battlefield. How do you shoot them down? How do you even
You
track them?
don't? Yeah.
They're there. It's a paper airplane.
Yeah.
And we declassified that because we got better shit out there.
I was gonna say they're having a whole new warfare with the drones. I didn't even know that they had paper airplanes out there that blew up.
Yeah,
So
that was 15. That was 2015.
yeah,
So that's 10
there
years
you
ago.
go. They probably have people driving the paper airplanes now. It feels
Dude, the new
what 10,
F.A.W.B.
15 years?
Yeah, our newest fighters that are coming out, the 6th-gen fighters, are going to actually, like the F-22 Raptors that are our 5th-gen that are out there, and the F-35s, they're pretty badass. But the new 6th-gen are going to be light years ahead of those. And if you go to any air show, when people are competing with the F-22s, they're like, that's cheating. There shouldn't be an airplane that can do what the F-22s do. And now we got something way better than that. And when they say way better, way better. So, anyways, tacos. Tacos come down to I love Steve and the scrapyard. I love fighting. It's in my spirit. It's always been in my spirit. I got into a lot of scraps when I was growing up and got picked on a lot. So that drove me into martial arts. And then, meeting kindred spirits that also love martial arts in this kinder, gentler world. I think martial arts is exactly what this kinder, gentler world needs, because the scrapyard, guns down, gloves up, I feel that to my core. And there's, because of the scrapyard, mothers get to hold their son at night. Talking about our friend Cam, he grew up in a real, lights out. He grew up in a really rough neighborhood, but he found the scrapyard. He found something to live for. He dedicated his life, and now he's on his way to a pro card. He's on his way to some greater things in his life because of his skill as a fighter, and because he came up from humble beginnings. He has heart, and he's just a good dude. I love Lights Out. That's why.
Yeah, he definitely is a really freaking awesome individual, and I agree with you. You're actually giving some insight to people that are outside the scrapyard and outside the community. They don't really get to see that insight. I think a lot of people get the misconception that because Street Beef Scrapyard is an outdoor backyard fight organization, that it's like ghetto, or that it's shady in some way. And I will say, having been involved in some of them, that some of them are that way. But when it comes to the scrapyard, it's more of a community where you're going to meet these like-minded individuals, that you're getting individuals that are there to not only, better themselves in the sense where they're looking for like skill, but they're also there like to make friends. They're there for their mental health. They're there to find people to connect with. And, in this fight community, sometimes that can be very difficult to do.
Yep.
And I'm so happy that some of these guys have that. They look forward to it every month just so they can go and see their friends, man.
Yep.
And that's super important. That's something that the fans don't get to see that you and I do get to see. And it's actually one of the reasons why I keep coming back to the scrapyard is because of that fact. It's such a wonderful community where they don't just beat you up, they build you up.
Yep.
And I love being a part of it. I love that you're a part of it. I love that we got to meet.
Yes.
We got to become friends because of this organization. And I can say that about numerous amounts of people now where I don't think I would have been able to meet them outside of the scrapyard. So I'm very happy to be a part of it for sure.
No. The community is ever growing, and there's a reason why we have in this world, in this day and age, the kinder, gentler world that I kind of make fun of. But I love seeing people, raising two boys. One of the things that Joni has taught me that it's not just about toughening them up, but it's also about opening them up. Right, letting them communicate their feelings. But in this world, you get made of for communicating your feelings. You're made fun of for communicating your feelings. So if somebody wants to make fun of you, you can still, whatever, but at least you have the courage. What fighting does and a fighting background does is it gives you the confidence to be yourself and not care what other people say, what other people think. You have the self-confidence. Okay, if you're going to say something, say it to my face. Like we were saying earlier, right? Like we can get down either way, man. I'd much rather just buy you a beer or whatever. But if we got to go in the ring and throw hands for a little bit to see who's the tough guy or whatever, cool. And the scrapyard does that. And it doesn't, so many people are quick to, like Steve and I used to talk about this at the shipyard. You have a lot of people that believe in guns, and I own weapons. I believe in our Second Amendment, don't get me wrong, but they rely on that. And one of his points, and it happened the other day, and I had to tell him about it, was these guys always go, well, there's not a man alive that can beat my 45, or they have some, whatever, the ultimate equalizer. But inside the gate, you can't bring a gun. There's places you can't bring your gun. So what are you gonna do? You're faced with a real-time situation. What are you gonna do? And a lot of times people don't have it. Well, I can. Yeah, you're talking shit to a person that trains Muay Thai 6 days a week, eats, sleep, or jujitsu or whatever, and you're looking at the person that usually is talking the smack is way out of shape, no flexibility. They got this, they don't have this, or any of the physicality to handle it.
Yeah, and when it comes to that, sometimes too, I always think like, as a martial artist myself, being adverse in firearms and firearm training is to me part of your martial art training.
Absolutely.
And as a martial artist, when I'm talking to I talk to some guys out there, everybody wants to tell you their background, their story. I see red if I get hit, but I know, being an experienced martial artist, if you aren't training consistently, chances are under duress you're gonna fold. So those guys that have that false sense of security because they got a firearm, I think they have that false sense of security a lot of the times because they're dealing with people that don't have firearms. But if you go against somebody that is well versed in not only hand-to-hand combat, chances are they're going to be pretty well versed in firearm training as well, and that training is going to be the deciding factor usually, unless you get the jump on somebody or bushwhack them or something like that. But if you're face to face with me and I sense that there's danger and that you may have a firearm, then trust me, buddy, I have one too. And if I feel that threat, then that may be where things end up going. And because I train and you don't, I feel more confident in my skill set than you should in yours.
Right.
And I look at that the same way, like when it comes to hand-to-hand combat, man, there's so many people out there that just have this really false sense of security as to what they would do if they were attacked or they got hit. And it's interesting, we see that in the comments sometimes. You get these couch quarterbacks that want to comment on fights or stuff like that happened in the scrapyard, but yet they've never stepped into a ring their whole life. So it's kind of like, I don't know how much of that's going to save you when what is it? Rubber hits the road.
Rubber hits the road,
yeah,
right?
I don't know how much of that's going to save you. So
I always
take it for
say,
what it is.
you know, people don't realize how much heart it takes to get inside that ring and let the cage go click behind
Oof.
you, right?
Yeah.
And now it's you and another human being that isn't backing down, that's equally trained, isn't going to accept your excuse. They're coming to take your head off, right?
Yeah, they're coming at you with intention. Yes.
Right. Yeah. And then, you know, you guys might hug it out later on and all the other stuff, but in the moment, now you have the moment is you in that moment. And, you know, the sheer heart that it takes to just even get in that ring. And the female, especially the females, because that negative connotation that women can't fight and all that other stuff. Well, Justine and the violin lady that she fought, all these respect to all the female fighters.
Beethoven.
Yeah, Beethoven. Shout out to Beethoven, right? Because the heart that it took to get in there, and she played her violin, right? It's like, how amazing was that, right? Like her talent isn't just in the ring, it's also out of the ring. She has a passion for art and fight, you know, and that's so awesome. And we need more of that. And so many people poo-poo on fight. Oh, you're just a knucklehead. Oh, you're just no, man. It's our carnal nature to get into a fight. It's in our genetic code.
Yeah.
We as men or women want to protect whatever it is we have. It's inside of us. And sometimes you got to let it out.
Yeah.
Sometimes
I think you should embrace it sometimes. There's nothing wrong with being able to protect yourself. That's just it. You should be able to protect yourself, because being somebody that you know, I was young once and I've been in situations where I've been on the shit end of it. And it's one of the worst feelings ever when you feel like you're helpless, I guess.
Yes.
You're helpless to do anything, and you're pretty much a victim to the circumstance. I think that the more you train and the more you become comfortable with you know, the idea of violence, or if I have to go to that state of mind, I think the better off you'll be if something ever arises. And you never know. Like, life is chaotic, guys. That's just it. Like, we're not guaranteed anything. So going through this life, you should be able to protect yourself.
Correct.
And yeah, that's just it. And I do, like you said, I appreciate that the scrapyard provides a community where people can come together and help better each other. And I also appreciate that you're there helping feed these motherfuckers. That's
hungry beast out there.
Yeah, they are. You know, your tacos, tap out tacos there. They always they're like the highlight of the scrapyard sometimes. People are always giving the shout outs to Kavacado. You guys are doing wonderful stuff over there. I'm gonna have to let you get going here pretty soon, bro.
Brother,
so why don't you tell us what Kavacado has coming up in the future and where people can find you?
So Kavacado right now is just in a retail space in terms of our kava. We do catering events, but you have to set the appointment. We have to schedule that out, and it's local to our community. So Seaback, Kitsap community specifically. Right now, we don't have intentions of really expanding that. But if somebody wanted a wedding or somebody wanted our tacos and stuff, we do those special events. So just give us a shout and we can arrange that. We are looking to bottle our sauces. We do sell our sauces. So if you guys find yourself looking, wanting our sauce in between the month, just put in an order for us. Hit me on the DMs, the scrapyard page, and we'll make sure that we have it for you and link up.
So Kavacado actually has its own Facebook page, guys. Make sure you're going over there and you're adding them. I'm gonna see if I can't leave a link in the comments here where the Kavacado, I think it's the Facebook page. Go there. And yeah, try out their sauces. I love their sauces. We get it every month. We take a bottle home with us. We take a bag of kava home with us, and we enjoy it, man. So make sure you guys are tapping into that. If you're at the scrapyard event, get the tacos after your match. And yeah, say hi to Derek and Joni, man. They're wonderful people and they're part of the community. And, we always appreciate you guys being there, bro.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. And I love meeting you guys and any of the new people. Thank you very much, Nate, for having me on your show. I really appreciate it. Joni, thanks you. I think she's upstairs taking care of the kids at the moment. So I got to go be dad here in about 2 minutes anyway.
Yeah, I can't steal you for too long, bro. I know how that goes. All right, bro. Well, we'll get together again soon, okay?
You too, man. Tell Jerry, give Justine my love, man.
Will do, bro. Later.